Oh, good evening. Welcome. Mondays, as always, Airfix and Chill. Good evening, everyone. Hope you're enjoying the weather at the moment. It's been a sturdy 22 to 23 degrees down here in the southwest. But you can't tell because I haven't got a towel off and I've been indoors for most of it working. But anyway, good evening all. Got a few going to be a bit late popping in. I think like Nigel and the rest, like John, Alec, he's going to be a bit late because he's working, so he'll be driving home while we start, but he'll drop in at some point. But we've got Gary Gremlins, we've got Moz, oh, that's me, we've got James, and we've got Jim. Normally I'm following the lead, I'm the first one, I'm following it around, but I'm on the right hand side tonight for some reason. I don't know why, but it's good to have you on board. Or to those in the chat, welcome. And if you have any questions you want to ask us, please do put them in the chat. Super chats get priority as always. And if you can start your message with either question in capitals or QQQ, and we can star them as we go along, then answer the questions later. I've always said that this is an open platform, that anyone can ask us a question, or if they've got something that they would like us to discuss, feel free to email me or message me on some social media. And what I do is I copy and paste them into a document, and then I think when I look at it, I think, what should we talk about tonight? I go and have a look and see who's asked what, and then kind of decide to discuss it. There is one question that I have got on my list, and I know Jim's here, but I'd like to do it when Luke's on as well. Is the difference between scale model shows around the country and in different countries? And with Jim back on board now, and Luke also, because he goes to a fair few scale model shows as well. To answer that question, because I've been asked it twice now. And I know Jim will be keen to talk about this, the differences between abroad and here. So we'll do that at a later date. But so keep that in mind. So if you do want that answered, we'll do that at another point. But I've got 3 or 4 really good topics to discuss in the next few weeks. That's the cat meowing. He probably wants food. But yes. But tonight was a really good question, and I thought that we could discuss it on here, because I know that there are those that build, there are those that collect, and there are those that build and collect. And it was, how does the collector's world and the builder's world affect each other when it comes to model kits, supply, demand, and price? And I've been doing my research on Revell's rarest kits, and the backstory in a lot of these kits are in collectors' collections. They're not being built because they're rare. And if you want to buy a particular kit at the moment, there's one. I'm not going to say which one because it'll ruin my video.
I know which one it is.
Yeah, but there's one at the moment that's 300 quid on eBay. You know, but we can go through this. You know, his if when Nigel comes on, he'll probably talk more about this. You know, he's probably out walking Dotty. But for instance, Wingnut Wings kits, when they came out, well, what are they around? About 50, 70 quid for the Wingnut Wing kits? And now there's some on eBay for 300 to 400 pounds. So in that respect, supply and demand, for instance, there is no supply, but the demand is there. And if you really want to build a Wingnut Wings kits, you're going to have to find the dollar to buy them. And there you go. So you got your supply, your demand, and price. Now, there's one kit I think will gain value over time, and people may laugh when I say this, but the Airfix Vulcan, the Black Buck one with the dodgy part in it, I reckon in 20, 30 years' time, there will be collectors who would want that particular Vulcan because it's got the wrong, what's it called? I don't remember them. What do they call it? Yeah, the pylon.
Yeah.
Got the wrong pylon. And Jim, what about in America for you? What kind of, when it comes to kits, is there a supply and demand up the price, down the price when it comes to collectibles over there?
I wouldn't say I'm in the collectible world, so I don't know that I would really be able to speak to that. But I most of the guys over here, gals, people, I would say you have your collectors, okay? That's their jam. They collect. I know guys that have 1,000 kits in their collection, and it's a collection, and that's their thing. They'll buy, they'll sell, and I have a collection. The only reason I have a collection is because I'm going to build everything in my collection after 3 lifetimes. But so it's almost like it's a byproduct. I don't collect this. This is just the stash that is waiting to be done. It's kind of a weird dynamic. But your point earlier, you were saying about in 30 years' time, this Airfix kit's going to. My question would be, in 30 years' time, what's the hobby going to look like? What is the demographic going to be? And are most of us dead and gone? Or a big chunk of us dead and gone. So is this, are the Gundam builders that are here today, the young kids that are going to save the hobby, are they going to be interested in a 70, 80-year-old Airfix Matchbox monogram kit? Who knows? I would say probably not.
Yeah.
But, so and everything fluctuates too. So that $300 kit on eBay right now, that might be its high. 25, 30 years from now, nobody may even want the thing, because again, the demographics, that market's gone. They're dead.
Yeah, I get that. I do get that. Now, I'm going to. You said it in there, Jim. If you're a collector, it's a collection. If you're a builder, it's a stash. All right.
Exactly. Many lifetimes, but yeah.
I have every intention to build a kit that I buy. That's a lie, because there are kits in my stash that are old that I bought them because no one else will probably have one, and I like to do a video on it. I'm still looking for a decent price Sam's 2 missile set. You know what I mean? And I said, if you've got one or two, I'm prepared to pay £30 for it, but I'm not prepared to pay £80 to £90 for it.
Go ahead. Sorry.
But that's really, that's the mustard of it. But if they're rare, it adds the value to it. I can tell you for now, there's Revell kits that people have been saying have been rare for years, and you'll never see them again. And now Atlantis is it Atlantis, the model company? And now releasing them. And actually, all go for them. If they could market it better by at least using the original box art, I think they're making a killing,
If they could, with copyright and stuff.
I get that. I do get that. Yeah. But what was it? There was like the Allison engine, lost in time in the 1970s. And they recently released it, haven't they? Is it in 1/10 scale? I think it is, from Revell. So now that's no longer a rare, unless you want it in an original Revell boxing. Fair enough. But I think a lot of these folks who do want these kits are intending to build them to either bring back the nostalgia of building it when they were young. So they don't really care what the box art's like. And, if it's a new box art, all they really care about, and this is why I say vintage classics from Airfix are perfect, is the decals aren't foobarred. You're getting fresh decals. And you're getting decals of the day. So they're not, if you took an Airfix kit now and put it in the stash with their cartograph decals, I bet those decals will be fine for 20, 30 years. But if you
longer.
Maybe even longer. But if you pick up a kit that's even 20 years old, those decals are hit and miss because of the acid in the paper.
Yeah.
What about you, Gary? Are you at a collector's stash, or You know,
I primarily am a stash builder to build, though I do have a couple of kits that will not get built in my stash. Yeah. I've got a 72nd TSR2 still in cellophane, and that's never going to come out of that. I've also got the limited edition, I think it's the Tucano, which was a very rare kit, and I think that's still sealed, so that's staying sealed. So they're the only two I'm never going to touch. Everything else is fair game.
Yeah. Well, Jim.
Why aren't you going to touch them? Because they're so valuable?
They're becoming rare.
Yeah.
Especially a TSR2 when it's still sealed in its cellophane, and the cellophane, I'm talking about the outer wrapper.
Right.
Imperfection. It's perfect. It's perfect. So it's like in mint condition. It's like when you get like collectors of toys. If something's in its box and the box is in mint, it automatically adds X value to it.
Yeah.
Probably the same as that TSR2.
Okay.
I picked it up for probably around about the £40 mark. Probably in about 10 years' time, it might be 60, 70, 80 quid, maybe more. As I say, as more get built, they become rarer. So as Boss says, supply and demand. If the supply is lower, the price goes up.
You're hoping to double your money in 20 plus years.
Yeah, it could be a pension booster.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you can't see, you can't hear, hair's growing out your ears, and
it was like when the Wingnut Wings ceased trading. They were all sort of like all the people were just buying up the kits.
Yeah.
So Bill says, like the Revell Jacques Cousteau ship, I've got that.
Yeah.
But
you're going to build it, aren't you?
I've got it.
Are you going to build it though, Jim?
I'm going to build everything in my stash. And that's what I was saying. So I don't know how much that thing's worth. Maybe it is worth something, but it's my intent to build it. Tamiya 1/12 scale bikes, all the Rossi bikes, all those that are out of production now because of licensing, they can't do them anymore. I mean, I think I've got all but one of those. One of them in sealed and cellophane. It's probably one of the rarest ones.
Yeah.
I intend to build it. But I did leave the cellophane on until I intend to build it, just in case. But that's the thing that so am I a true collector? A true collector would never break the seal on that kit or would sell that Cousteau's Calypso, I'm going to build them if I can live long enough,
Yeah. Well, that Jack Calypso boat, it's a 70s kit, and it was last released 15 years ago. And you kind of see this pattern with Revell, that they do leave their kits a very long time, and before you know it, bang, they're out again. But you can look back into the history of Revell. I'm using Revell example, not really Airfix, because I've been so overwhelmed by the amount of kits that Revell had and the amount of scales that are in the Revell branded. And I'm not including the monogram side of things where they bought the tool-ins for that. I'm just talking pure Revell DNA. And the fact that they use a Japanese company called Takara to release some of their kits. And there's a company in Brazil that they've used. And that's where a lot of tooling disappeared in the 80s because allegedly the ship went down and a lot of these kits went with it. So, it's really what it's all about. It's and also, but I'm really suspect with this cellophane wrap. My TSR2 is cellophane wrapped. But what is actually in the box? It could be a box of stone.
Well, I think it was like Model Minutes. He was doing a review of a kit, Matchbox kit. It was still in the cellophane, and the kit was a bit iffy.
Yeah.
And I said, I think that's a fake kit.
Yeah.
Because they literally reboxed it with a very early Rebel boxing of the kit.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to get down into the weeds, you can look at this. I don't want to say style, but the cellophane wrapping itself. Sometimes you can tell if something has been resealed just because it's probably a heavier, thicker cellophane, and there's big heat creases on the side of the plastic on the ends, and you're like, that doesn't look like anything I've ever seen before.
Yeah.
And those machines are a dime a dozen. You can get one.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I get that. I do get that. World of plastic modeling. Antique prices in the UK are generally coming down due to the fact that the target market sadly is all dying off. Just watch Antiques Roadshow, LOL. I work in that trade, mate, and I can assure you that everything comes back in fashion. Everything comes back in fashion.
things are cycles,
don't it, Moz?
Pardon?
Our cycles, like brown furniture was in probably in the 90s, went out in the early 2000s, slightly creeped back in again.
Yeah.
Different things.
Well, you look it's right. I'll tell you a prime example of pricing in this world, okay? I know guys who will go to our auction houses and they will look for Hornby product. And they can tell just by looking at it and probably sniffing the paintwork whether that was made in this country or made in China.
Yeah.
If it's in China, it's not worth a jit at the moment, okay? But they can tell you the period of when, they can tell you when it was first taken to China. Now, allegedly, when it first went to China, they had a problem with, it wasn't a rust. What was it, James? There was a problem with the
White metal. Massacrot.
What was it called?
Massacrot.
Yes. And they've kind of sorted that out now, haven't they? You don't get that.
Because unfortunately, some people were shocked to discover they had a beautiful. I think the classic example is the Class 31 from Hornby.
Yeah.
My one, I've got one up in the loft, and they grew.
Yeah.
So
there's that, and they can tell you just looking at the paintwork whether that was original Chinese tooling or the improved Chinese tooling.
Yeah.
But anything that before that was made in this country, they spot it a mile off. They go, that's definitely, what was it? Anyway, there's a term that they use, and that sort of stuff goes to £500-600. Now, me personally, I deal with a lot of brass. Brass is my forte. Keswick Technical College, things like that. No, that's my forte, and I know now brass prices have dropped. But all we really need is another DIY program where they use brass as a way of enhancing a room. And before you know it, everybody wants a set of martingales and horse brasses down the side of the fireplace. All it takes is, and that's cultural. It's a cultural thing. And even now, I sell a lot of product to film houses. And, this week or last week, I was selling stuff to Harry Potter. Because the new HBO series is being filmed, and they've been buying stuff off me for that film. And even the new one, the new Spider-Man, the title's like, is it Ocean or something, Ocean Gate or something like that? They've been buying stuff as well. But
that's probably just a code name at the moment.
I can't remember what it's called now. What the actual film, but they've been buying stuff as well. But and that when here's a prime example. The Walkman was in Guardians of the Galaxy. How many people went out and started buying Walkmans? The price of Walkmans went up in value on eBay because of that film.
I remember when they first came out, was it about £90 odd, and that was a lot.
New day.
Back in the late 70s, early 80s.
But like everything, it goes in cycles. Now, I'm pretty sure if I said to you that the let's just say that the Jaguar from the 1/32nd scale Jaguar from Airfix, they've broken the tooling, and I've got proof that they've broken the tooling. It will never be repeated again. The price of that Jaguar will go up, and there'll be people like me who collect these sort of things will go, "Oh, I need to buy that before But trying to get the price, but it is supply demand, and
like the Herald, didn't it? Well, the ship.
Yeah. Supply and demand again. And and the bottom does come out the market. We all know that. You know, how many bomb bugs were on eBay at 350 quid before Airfix finally released the bomb bug?
Like you said about wings, that container got found.
Yeah. Well, they had the bomb. They knew they had the bomb bug for years, but it wasn't until they decided to retool the glass for it that they re-released it.
Yeah.
The buggy as well. You know, little things like that. And when you come to Atlantis, I think people are willing, if they know that the kit is rare, they're willing to spend a few quid. But as soon as a re-release comes out, the novelty of buying it in an original box with original decals and original instructions go out the window.
Well, it is actually a shame that the Wingnut Wings sort of like handy page 0400 doesn't come out.
Yeah.
Didn't come out because that would go through into orbit the price.
I do know over here there, because you just said something about original boxing, original instructions, and everything like that. Now, depending on what it is, okay, in our hobby, something gets repopped, and now it's not rare anymore. The Bond Buggy, perfect example. But at least over here, and not maybe necessarily in modeling, but in other collectibles or whatever, there's more of a premium on the older kit or older whatever, because it is in the original box. It's got the original instructions. It's got more patina on it because it's old or whatever, and whatever antique it may be, it's in the original box. Now then the price just went up, especially like with toys. Toys are a big collectible over here. So I don't know about over there, but yeah, I mean, if you've got, I don't know, some Hot Wheel or Matchbox car from the late 50s or early 60s in the original box, then yeah, it's going to go big.
Just on a flip side of this, I think also the market disappears on a particular kit when a fresh tooling comes out. I can't see the value. So say, for instance, that the Walker Bulldog, the M41, okay? Now, that's been tooled and retooled for years and years and years. And to be fair, it's a pretty good kit for a 1970s kit.
1969 kit, roughly. But
the 1969, is it? I've built it. I really enjoyed it. It was cracking. It was good. But I'm pretty sure that if somebody would create a tooling that would that would more accurate using techniques of today, I don't think Tamiya would release that Walker Bulldog again.
No,
because there will be a better one out there. I think that also comes into it as well. Why would you buy a Spitfire from 1973 and 1/72nd scale from Airfix when the new one, the Mark 5C, for instance, in 1/72nd scale, you just won't retire that kit unless there's any value of buying it if it's an old kit.
Unless you're a collector that is after that boxing and that year and that box art, and that's where the collection comes in. So you're either your collector or your builder with the stash. The stash wants the newest, latest, greatest usually. Guys like building older stuff, but the true collector probably would want both. A true collector would want every boxing of every kit. Go on Scale Mates and you can see the lineage down there. They're going to want one of everyone.
Yeah, I understand that, but what I'm saying is that the price won't be so up there, would there? I guess.
No, because they are catering to the builder crowd, and so.
I think as a kit, I think more. There's more value in the kit that's not been retooled than there is or a modern tooling of a kit. Like I said, the Jacques Cousteau ship. It's a 70s kit, released again in 2010. There's a bit of rarity in it now, which I kind of get. But if there was other manufacturers who were producing a newer tooling of that, I don't think they would really, if it was released again, I don't think it would hold its value because there's already a different one out there that's probably better, more accurate, So yeah, it's just trying to, supply and demand. If Airfix said that they were, or Revell said we were going to release a one-off Tornado, that's the most accurate one, etc.
Mm.
And they did 1,000 of those kits, and you'll never see them again because they're limited edition. Those are the ones that will kind of gain the value, whether you're a collector or a builder.
Yeah.
For instance, the TSR. I swear blind, I don't think we'll see those TSRs re-released by Airfix, because if they were, they would have done it by now for sure. But on the side of those boxes, it does say limited edition.
For now.
Mm.
Well, that's the 48s, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think it's not on the 72nd, it's just the 48s. I think
Is it the
that's
48s? Is it? I know the 72nds were released again for
With
the
that
Japanese market.
Yeah, with that like manga type scheme.
Yeah.
But you had the original schemes in the box as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of Airfix kits of the era of the TSR2 used to have limited edition on them, because it was when Airfix went tits up, and before Hornby brought it. So you had the C5 was a limited edition, the C-Vixen was a limited edition. Those kits.
But we've never seen them since, though, have we?
No.
And there's the value, because we don't know whether they're going to. I don't think they'll release those TSRs again. There's something in my bones that makes me think that tooling, limited edition, it wasn't. Those toolings were probably done cheaper, so the metalworking, all that to it. The fit's not that good on it. I know that the 48's a terrible fit allegedly. If you want to do the 48, you've got to buy a different canopy, I've been told.
Yeah.
172nd goes together. You've seen Sully's build on that 172nd, haven't you? Goes together pretty well.
No, Sully built the 148 scale TSR.
I thought it was the 172nd he built.
No, did the 48 scale kit.
It was that. Right, okay.
I think Sinners did the 48, or was that the 72nd as well?
We did the 48 as well.
Was it the 172nd that's got the problem with the canopy then? One of them's got a problem. Yeah, I get that, Zinzan, yeah. And they're not bad people make out. But what was it? One of the scales, the canopy, you're better off buying an aftermarket canopy for it.
Yeah.
So, but again, like I said, we've got them in the stash now. I do intend to build it, but that one there, that 148, which is still sealed, I've kept the seal on it, just in case. But I know if I open it up, it will be, the decals will be food barred, so I have to buy aftermarket anyway. But yeah, it's an interesting subject, Somebody asked a question. What about modeling adjacent items like coins and watches? Rarity drives up values. I think it does, but at what point does it become value to somebody? I'm an Airfix collector of their toys, their games. I got their coins. Obviously, I've got a watch. It's got and it has got an Airfix logo on. I've got, I aim to buy or purchase. Key rings. Anything that's old school Airfix. I tried to collect that. The racing car game and everything. Things like that. Yeah, but they don't. That's hit and miss with pricing as well. Some days you go on eBay, and for instance, that glider, the Airfix glider, it's not really a model kit, it's more of a toy from Codex Glider. Now, they're on there for about 180 to 200 quid, and then sometimes they go on there for 60. Right, they sell pretty quick, but they go for 60 quid, But there are those who are in it for the long haul, and they will keep it up there for a long time.
Like I had the Airfix pontoon bridge set. I know they also did the gun emplacements and things like that as toys. Yeah. They were more used as toys than actual models.
Yes,
tanks and things like that, and little troops.
Well, they did a toy. The toy that they did was a Phantom. It landed on an aircraft carrier.
The flight deck kit.
Flight deck kit, yeah.
Yeah, the Phantom, wasn't it?
But in America, Jim, in this country, Airfix is the standard. When people want to collect, they go for Airfix or whatever. In America, what kits are looked upon as rarity now in America? Is it the monogram stuff? Is it the Aurora stuff?
For me, that's hard to say, because in my group of friends and just talking with guys, I don't know that we have any kind of, if it's old, then yeah, there's probably some value in it for the collector guys. But since we don't have a monogram or a Rebel or anything like that, it's more of a, well, at least with me, I mean, I don't have any of that in my collection. All my stuff is mostly Japanese and Chinese,
Yeah.
So I don't have really a brand allegiance. I try to get the latest, greatest together thing, because at my age, at 60, I'm done fighting with kids,
Yeah.
But I really don't get that sense amongst talking to guys that there is and I can tell with hanging out, going over there, hanging out with you guys here on other chat groups and stuff, that with UK guys, man, Airfix is it's like the bat signal sign going up. It might be like the Airfix logo sign. There's a brand loyalty. There's, guys live and die by Airfix, and they're very invested emotionally and financially in the Airfix brand. Over here, not so much. We really don't have that identity to do that with.
Yeah. That's a good shout, actually, because I think loyalty also lies. I'm going to say brand goes with what the subject matter is. Now, I know that if you want to build muscle cars, I assume your loyalty will be more for the monogram and the Revell side of it, because they're the ones who produce.
Yeah, he was big over here.
Yeah, I have a feeling though it's the AMT kits more.
AMT, is it?
Yeah.
I'll say that. Yeah.
That's not my genre, so I can't speak to that. But from what I have seen, a little bit of it, AMT did a lot of car stuff.
Because the AMT are very easy to hot rod the kits.
Mm-hmm.
They do a lot of tooling to do the hot rodding.
Yeah.
And Maj, you were saying earlier about culture. Americans are known for their car culture, be it modeling or one-to-one and the interstates and get out and go. I mean, we don't have mass transit like you have over there. Everybody gets in their car and they go where they need to go,
Yeah.
We spend millions and billions on buses and trains, and there's 2 or 3 people on them, it's crazy. It's a car culture. So I'm not that big of a car builder. So that's why I probably could have said, if there was now a brand that Americans would follow, it would probably be an AMT with the car guys.
Yeah.
Going to warehouse, and he's got a ton of them.
Is AMT still going strong? Are they in America?
I don't know.
AMT are produced by Round 2.
Round 2. Okay. So that so there wouldn't be anything new coming out from AMT, because Round 2 basically just rebox old tooling, don't they? They don't create anything new, do they? Round 2.
Round 2, they do. It tends to be it tends to be for in the kits for the science fiction stuff.
Okay.
Because that, like the sort of Star Trek and Space 1999.
Okay.
So Round 2,
they do a lot of the Star Trek stuff originally, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yes.
Round 2 is to cars at what Hobby 2000 is the Hasegawa airplane kits, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I presume the plastic modeling's in America, because he says Airfix is like Marmite over here, or Bud Light in America. You either love it or hate it.
Well, one of our 2 local hobby shops, one of them carries a lot of Airfix, because it's probably, I'd say, more affordable for him to get in and stock on the shelves than, say, other newer, bigger kits like the RF or Ryfields and the Mings and the is and such.
Graham's made a good point. Comment: a collector is looking at a return on their investment usually.
Oh, good point.
With a stash, a modeler will probably need to invest to make the model to a reasonable standard.
That's a great point.
That's a very good point. Yeah.
Exactly.
As I say, being in that collector's world, I see coins go through auction houses all the time. Now, I think my Airfix coin collection will gain value over time. I've got every single coin they've ever released, bar the one that they made specifically for the Australian market. So if you bought the Spitfire 124th Mark 8 in Australia, they also came with a coin. I've been trying to get hold of one, so if anybody has one, I'm willing to pay a good dollar for it as well.
I'm surprised you didn't get a plane ticket and fly down there just so you could buy one down there.
Well, the annoying thing is this, that I actually sent a couple of kits to Australia to a person there who wanted the coins. But then
you sent the Lancaster there, didn't you?
Yeah, the Lancaster, the Dam Buster one went over there, and the Wessex, was it the Wessex one went over there. But he never even heard of, if he had seen that, obviously he would have bought the kit for me and sent me the coin. But it was kept quiet over there. No one else seems to know about it. But that's the only coin I don't have. But I've got every single other ones. And also, I do say that when it comes to collections, having the whole series gives it that extra push of value. Is it? I don't know whether you have them in the States. There was a group of super cups, and there was and every cup had a recipe, and there was onion, there had all these tomato soup recipe, all along their broth recipe.
Was it
and
Heinz?
Pardon?
Was it Heinz?
It wasn't Heinz. It was just like a bowl, and they had like the soups on them. But they always said that the collection was 6. There was 6 in the collection. But what people didn't know was there was a 7th one, which was the mulligatawny one. The spicy soup.
Spicy minestrone. That was.
Yeah, but if you had that 7th one, you would triple the price of the section of 6. So. And also, I'm just wondering, it's like also collectibles. I'm a catalog collector. I've got the majority of Airfix catalogs. There's not many I don't have. But I know that if you ever the Tamiya catalogs are now becoming quite collectible as well.
Yeah.
If you've got the whole range, if you've got the whole 40, I think it's 40 catalogs from Tamiya.
Wow.
You're looking at around £600 to £700 for the lot. But if you've got them all, But then again, like I've got an original Airfix catalog. I've got the first edition catalog. When I bought that, I think I paid 20, 30 quid. But now I've seen them for sale for 120, 130. So imagine that. I've got edition 1, edition 2, edition 4, edition. I've even got the in-between one when Hornby first bought out Airfix, and they just released this little, what was the other way around? Or Humble bought out Airfix. I've got the original, it was like 3 pages. I've got that one as well. But it's very much one of them. Collections and stuff. It does do it. I love Airfix, but at the age of 34, never tried Marmite in my life. You've got to try Marmite, mate.
Yeah.
It is exactly what it is.
Marmite on French toast.
Yeah, definitely. When I was losing weight with Slimming Well, instead of using butter, I'd use Marmite. So Marmite and cheese and grill it. It's fantastic. But yeah, collectibles, anything like that, I think there is a very intrinsic value. And if something won't, if you hear of a kit that's not been released since the 1980s, there's always a reason why. And because either the tooling's damaged or it's too far gone. But yeah, I think collections, stashes, beauty's in the eye of the beholder when it comes to these things.
I think when the tooling's too far gone, it goes to Mr. Craft.
Oh, definitely.
Mystery Craft, you mean, Dan, James?
Yeah.
Is it Mastercraft or Mr. Craft? It depends on which box.
Mr. Crap, innit?
Mr. Crap. Yeah.
Or that, as they used to say, it used to be the Schmur kits, didn't they? You get a lot of value for the kit because you get tons of bloody flash in it.
Do you see Matt's build of the Sabre where he got about 8 different sets of decals of a multitude of different papers?
It's weird, isn't it? it is what it is. I think, when it comes to it, it's when a tooling's retired, 9 times out of 10 they've got a better tooling in it. Like the Sea King, for instance. This is the original one. I've got it here because I was looking at it. It's a bit battered, but this is my original version of the Sea King.
Yeah.
They've done a new one now, so this one will never end up as a vintage classic. There's no need to release it. It's an all right kit. It's hard work, but
Yeah.
Mr. Craft. Oh my god, yeah. But if you want to do the Alfa Romeo Formula One car from the 1940s, Mr. Craft are the only ones who have that tooling. So if you want to build one, you have to work hard at it. But what's wrong with working hard on a kit anyway? So, I get it. Yeah, I didn't plan on being a kit collector. I only bought kits I intended on building. Unfortunately, I have to live to be 148
to build them all.
He's beating you there, Jim. He's beating you there slightly on 148.
I always say I need 3 lifetimes. So
yeah.
Well,
a word that they use? Is it like wasn't the word stash? There's an acronym for stash, isn't there? Was it stash or something? There was somebody had mentioned it. A collection beyond human. Oh, I can't remember what it was now. Life on Earth or something like that. I don't know. There's an acronym that people use. If anybody knows it, let me know. Here goes the back Nimrod. What happened to that tooling? The price of those are picking up again. You are right, because I saw one at a scale model show, and the guy Sabo. Thanks, Julian. Sabo. Stash beyond living. Something beyond living. It's something like that. Sabo, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, the Nimrod, that's another tooling that seems to develop this pricing. Stash acquired beyond life expectancy. Thank you very much, Julian. That's the one. Yeah. So a lot of us of Sable, I guess. Yeah. I can never be a kit collector. I'll end up opening it. We all open, even the collectors open them, unless it's a sealed one like that. Yeah. Thing. Yeah. But anyway, going back to that Nimrod. Yeah, I don't know why the prices are going up, because I thought Hella had that tooling originally. I thought it was a Hella tooling. Again,
is it one that's gone into the great unknown?
Yeah.
They'll probably open the box someday, and there it is. It's probably Airfix have probably got it. They just can't find it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see. What was it? Was it?
To be honest, I'd like to. I do wonder what happened to the Revel 1/32 scale Seafire Mark III.
So it was only ever released once at Nimrod in 2008. But will we see it on our workbenches in the future? I don't know. It's like the B1B.
Unless you're lucky to pick one up in a second-hand shop, this like charity shop, they don't know what it is, and you get it for a steal.
Yeah.
Because that's what some people actually manage to do sometimes. They trawl places like Oxfam, things like that, and find these rare gems occasionally. Where someone's done a house clearance and don't realise what it is. I've got a mate who's a stamp collector, and he'll spend £50 to £100 on an album just because he wants one stamp out of it.
Yeah.
But he can also make his money back by selling the rest what's in the album, because he knows what the proper values are.
I do wonder if there is a business case of us buying kits that for people who lose parts, just part them out, like, and it's See that go back, that Nimrod kit only been tooled once, 2008, so 18 years ago, 17 years ago.
Yeah.
Not been seen since, and they're wanting 120 quid for model shows now. Another one, the Mosquito, and people say, "Oh, it's going for 200 quid." That, but then if Airfix released that Mosquito now because of the size of it, it'll probably be £180 kit.
Yeah. So
I think it would be a £200 kit, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's a big ask. I remember having the Mosquito.
Did you build it?
No. I sold it.
You sold it, did you?
I brought all the extras for it, and then I suddenly sold it one day.
Yeah. Just about to make the Airfix. Oh, that's interesting. Just about to make the Airfix Nimrod and hack off the tail and nose to add the equally rare Camet AEW3 conversion to it.
I think, honest, personally, I think the rarest conversion kit you can find, if you can find it, is that for the 124 scale Harrier. That's the C Harrier, the FA2 conversion. Yeah.
Wow. Fair play on that.
You effectively got to cut the fuselage in two places.
One slip, you.
It's like the B1B, isn't it, as well? You know, the Airfix 172nd scale, he's a big kit. And the tooling is in Margate, because I've seen the tooling. I've touched the tooling. And it's the one tooling they can't move in the warehouse because it's too heavy for their forklift.
Well, if you think about it, the actual B1 as an aircraft is a massive aircraft.
Yeah. I've got to do a review on it. I keep promising I'm going to do it. I'm going to build it. So I want to. That's something in my grasp.
Look, you've been promising your build.
The B1 is one of the few. Sorry, the B1 must be one of the few swing wing aircraft they don't have.
Doesn't Revell do a B1B as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
I suspected you did, Gordon.
What's that, Gordon?
He's got the FA2 conversion set for the 124th Harrier.
Really?
That's even rarer.
I wonder what sort of price there'll be if he was to sell the conversion kit.
$1 million.
But then again, you're going to use it, I guess. So, and there you go. So the value for him is to actually input it into that Nimrod.
Yeah.
Interesting. Airfix Nimrod on eBay, £55 at the moment. That's cheap because I've seen them going for 70, 80 quid on eBay as their basic. Yeah. But is that on auction though, Jock, or is that the actual price for it? Let me know, because the auction starts at 55. It could end up gaining another 30, 40 quid if it's not on auction. So,
I mean, to be honest, they were being flogged off at, I think, at Telford for 40 quid, weren't they? Or a tenner. Something like that, Nimrods, because they couldn't get rid of them.
Interesting. Do you think the Nimrod may be a possible classic release? We don't know. We don't know where the tooling is. You could ask the question, but I wouldn't know. It's something I'll have to speak to my contacts and see where that tooling is.
Well, there are Nimrods around.
Yeah.
But where they've got sort of things like Victors and whatever else like that. So they can 3D scan them.
Personally, I don't think the Nimrod is an Airfix kit by the way it's packaged. The original Airfix, when they were taken over by Hornby, didn't they get a lot of the tooling sent to China to be made? A lot of the kits were made in China before they then switched to India. When was that switch? Does anybody remember what year the switch was? Was it late teens? Was it like 2014 onwards?
Well, I've got a 148 scale C Vixen.
Yeah.
It's obviously in a red box, and the kit is not the sort of like the blue tack plastic. It's a hard. It looks like a Chinese plastic.
Yeah. Which isn't a bad thing, to be honest. That hard plastic wasn't too bad when it was like blue tack. That was when it was at its worst, wasn't it? Because when you sand it, when you were trying to sand it, and some of the Revell kits are like this as well. When you were sanding it, it didn't come off like a dust. It came up like bubbly, didn't it? You know,
Yeah.
it came off like you were tearing the plastic.
Mm.
So, you know, it's the box in the box of the protective packaging on the kit parts. Okay. Yeah. One thing I have to say about the UK is the museum's outstanding. Even when I was stationed, I was assigned to. Oh yeah, fair enough, mate. Okay. Yeah, Nimrod was later designer of the Comet airliner. Right. Well, as I said, if they've got it, then at least the Airfix Nimrod for sale. There was an Airfix Nimrod for sale at King Kit between 70 and 80 quid, I think.
Yeah.
And they've held their value. Yeah. I don't. As I said, it's different. You know, different. It's definitely a kit that we could see back if they did have the tool in.
Mm.
The resin and metal air intakes for the Victors from Matchbox and Revell are mega rare. Did that kit though originally come? Did Revell not release the metal air intakes for the Victor? Because that was the other thing. I noticed that there's a rare Harrier that's out there by Airfix, where the undercarriage is all made of cast iron. You know, die-cast undercarriage.
White metal, yeah.
White metal.
I think that's the 1/24 scale, isn't it?
Yeah.
Man, that's a lot of weight.
What's that, sorry, Jim?
My 1/24 scale GR3 went in the bin one day when I picked it up picked it up off my wardrobe, and it left its undercarriage behind.
Oh dear.
The undercarriage welded itself to the top of the wardrobe.
Similar story. And
That went into the varnish.
What, Jim?
No, I was just going to say similar story to what James just said. I had I do not like white metal undercarriage. One day, I for whatever reason, I was just looking in my display case, and I had a Sea Fury, and I had all the old Airwaves, or no, it was PP Aero parts that made that mega set that you could fold the wings and do. And I did all that. And then years later, I looked, and the gear went, they couldn't hold the weight over time, and all the axles bent on all the white metal gear.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, you know. So, yeah.
I once built it was halfway through, but I'm still there, and it's on the shelf. It's on the shelf at the moment. It's been there for about 5 years. Was the Flybe had Q800s Bombardier, or they become de Havilland again, didn't they? They swapped them around, didn't they? And the undercarriage, a Russian company, Eastern Express it was, and the undercarriage was crap on it. It was so badly tooled, and the flash. I tried to clean it up. Anyway, I found some cast undercarriage for it, and it really did make it a happier. It was a happier build when I put them underneath it, like, you know. They did do a good job on it, to be honest, with the white metal. I didn't need to put any weight in the front nose either, because it was on the yeah. So it's, you know. Hey John, how are you, my friend?
Hi, gentlemen. Yeah, I just got home from work.
Oh, yeah. Bless you.
Yeah. So
you enjoying it? Nope.
Yeah, I enjoy being employed. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah.
That's the diplomatic answer.
John, are you a collector, mate? Or are you a collector or a builder with a stash?
I am definitely not a collector, and I like to keep my stash as manageable as possible. So if I had a big stash, it would drive me nuts, because I'd want to start them all, right? So you want to dig in. You see it in your stash, and you're like, oh man, I want to do that. So I try to not have. It used to be 15. Now I think it's creeping up to 20. No more than 20 kits in the house at a time. Yeah.
That's because you went to Telford, mate. That's the problem.
It would just drive me nuts. It really would. If I had this fantastic, gigantic stash, right? Because it's candy, right? So you just I would want to eat all the candy
Yeah.
once, right? You know, all the time. So yeah.
Comment, same boat as John, paralyzed by choice is what he's saying. Yeah, I get that. It's difficult. Is there anything, do you think that because now you jumped on, hopefully Nigel will jump on in a minute and we'll talk about Wing Nut Wings. Do you see that there's a difference in value of kits with supply and demand? So, you know, when it comes to older kits, do you see that there's a price difference with the rarity of a kit? And would you tend to buy a kit because it's rare at that price, or would you not even bother going down that road of buying it?
I would not, to tell you the truth. To buy a kit that's buying it because it's rare, no, that wouldn't interest me at all. I don't mind paying more for a kit if I'm getting more plastic, right?
Yeah.
And getting higher quality. That's when I don't mind paying more.
That's a good shout. You know, I think you picked on that as well, didn't you, Jim? That you know you pay more for the quality than
But what I'll also add on to what John just said, would I buy a kit just because it's rare? No, because I'm not a collector. But there is one kit that I'm after that's out of production, probably will never see the light of day again. And if I can find it, because it is rare, because I want it, not to collect it, but to build it, then then I'll definitely jump on it. So if anybody out there is a hobby fan, M58 mine clearing trailer, HS-56, I believe, is the kit number. I'd be more than happy to talk to you.
Yeah, I've got two of them. Let me just. So that's what you
mixed in them. Yes, I believe you.
Is that a one? Was that right? A 1 to 35th mine cleaning line charge trailer?
Yeah.
Wow.
And did it?
In Germany, they were going for €100 in Germany apparently all those years ago.
Yeah.
And just
I seem to remember when I went through my obsession once upon a time to get all the Airfix 124 scale kits, and I had to go to Germany to get the Focke-Wulf 190.
Okay.
It's the other one that doesn't have it's the single axle was the one I'm after.
Oh, single axle, is it?
Yeah, they did another one. That's HFO 58. And I think the other one is HFO 56, maybe. I'm not sure. But it's the same thing. It's just the axles. And that's the one. Yeah, 56. Wow. That's the one. Wow. That's the one I'm after.
When you see that it's got 9 on the wish list on ScaleMates and only one person has it in their stash, that says a lot, doesn't it?
Yep. Good luck.
Someone's going.
I've got it now on an eBay as a search.
Yeah.
Good luck.
I want to pay there, Jim.
Yeah, I searched eBay and nobody had them, so there wasn't even one listed.
Wow. Yeah. Crumbs.
Yeah, Julian Hall says he's just looked in eBay, and 172nd scale Avro arrows are £100 to £170.
Really? Is that the Airfix one?
I'm assuming it is. Night, Dan.
Night, Dan, mate. Kits. Who's produced one of these then? Full kits. Oh, there you go. Hobbycraft. Ideal. Wow. Is that the one? Is it the 105? Yep, Airfix.
Yeah.
Where's Airfix to? Airfix didn't make one, did they? Doesn't look like Airfix, does it?
He confirmed. Well, I think Airfix did make it.
Can't see one on here. Avro
Yeah,
Arrow.
Hobbycraft Canada were the manufacturer that used to be very cheap in BTs once.
Yeah.
And you could get all the range of vampires and venoms from them, which I've got.
I can't see an Airfix one here. There's Aurora. I've done one, but I can't see an Airfix one.
Try just putting in F105, not Arrow.
F105.
Yeah, because a lot of those coming up with CF. Which
No,
is
Julian's clocks up. He says it's Hobbycraft.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. I mean, I was going to say it was a.
We'll sack you, Julian.
Well, yeah. So the Arrow was the TSR copy, wasn't it?
Yes, it was the TSR. It was another one that was cancelled by the Americans.
Yeah. No one's got one for sale.
Because they were scared of it.
Yeah. No one's
Just
got
saying.
one for sale.
Wasn't that Canadian made and then they shut down the plant or whatever, or we did
Yeah.
something and then we stole all the engineers or some such thing?
Yeah.
That sounds like us.
Yeah.
I think that was around the time they had the Avro flying saucer.
That's interesting. I said, it's money throwed rope, really, as well, isn't it? It's difficult. It is difficult. What to, Anyways, so my stash is 30 kits, 3 148 planes, Tamiya P38J Edard Spitfire. I have Johnny Johnson's markings for and the GB Racer. I'd love to do a GB Racer. I think Fenris did one, didn't he? Or was it
Captain VFC Matt?
Captain VFC Matt built one, didn't he? They're really hard. But and the rest of the stash is the 30s, 40s, and 60s car kits. Yeah, if you look between planes and cars, I think there's a lot more cars on the market than there are planes. To be fair,
yeah.
I like the lorries. Americans have got it right with their lorries, with the Peterbilts and everything like that, and the Kenwood, Kenworth. In this country, we struggle. Was it called
Kenworth, isn't it?
Kenworth, yeah.
Kenworth.
The Aerodyne and things like that. But I'd love to get a proper Volvo FL7 or an FL10. You just can't get them, So
Yeah, you need a scaffolding tower to replace a sodding windscreen on an FL10.
Yeah, that's it.
Trust me. Don't ask me how I know.
We don't do lorries are under. Well, then again, lorries are like that, aren't they? Wow. Send me a picture, is he? Hang on, can I?
Just Matchbox did a few lorries with American licenses or something.
AMT, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Amarang, as it was called.
Yeah.
I think my cousin had one of the Mac cab overs, wasn't it? So
yeah. Let's just delete this. I'll just show you. You just sent me a picture of the. Hang on. Was it stop screen a minute, and then just share screen. Hobby Time has just sent me a picture of the Harrier conversion kit. How do I do it on here? If I go to
Presentation.
Presentation and share screen, window, that one there, share, and then share. There you go. That's a hell of a conversion kit, isn't it? Crumbs.
Oh.
Look at that.
Yeah, it's got that bulbous nose, ain't it? FA2. Rather than the pointy one that the FRS1 had.
Well, as far as I'm aware, differences are between a FRS1 and FE2 are the nose, the internozzle fairings.
That's what he's got there, yeah.
And a 13-inch spacer in the fuselage. Pitot tube moved up onto the tail and wing fillets.
Wow.
Hmm.
Just looking at that.
Didn't you have the wider wings as well, James?
The wings are the same,
Oh, right.
apart from this little wing fillet. Because you know the wings have they've got like a sharp point in them. The wings on an FA2 they're sort of smooth.
Slaugu, I was just about to say the exact thing. The insignia of wings with the fist is really cool on that Royal Navy. So that will convert the Harrier to
building site Star Wars on his desk.
yeah. So this will convert the Harrier to a Sea Harrier. This conversion kit.
Basically. Well, second edition Sea Harrier,
yeah.
Oh yeah, the FA2. FA2.
I think it converts the conversion they did of the FRS1 to an FA2.
Look at the vac form canopies. They make me cry. They do.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it had a different canopy as well, didn't it?
No, same canopy.
All right. But it's like the bulbous.
And you got the wheels as well. You got the resin wheels as well. What's the white there? The long white bit. What would that be for, James? Or the cream?
I don't know what it. That might be.
They look like antenna, the green bits in the bag.
No, I'm not talking about the white bits above, or the ivory coloured bits. You got the bits.
So the ivory coloured. Is that a rocket? Or not a rocket, but
it's a sensor pod. Central sensor. I think it's a sensor pod. That one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That sits slung between on a pylon between the two Aiden cannon.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Or the AMRAAMs. Sorry. Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Ah. There you go. I see now. Ah. You've got rockets there, haven't you?
Yeah.
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 But there's the VAC. The only true multi-role fighter, is it?
Yeah.
So the Blue Fox radar was relatively ineffective. So I'm just assuming is that the radar there, is it?
As I say, Sharky's World Squadron's actually got the Blue Fox to work pretty well in the Falklands. It's Hermeses couldn't get theirs to work properly, or
better intakes.
They didn't put the work in to get it working properly.
No.
Yeah. Look at that though. Look at the detail on that.
Yeah.
Mm.
So the cream parts, if you go back to them,
yeah.
Scroll up. So look at what's in the bag, and and you're centered right there on the X. Yeah, that's one of the practice bomb droplets that would go in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. What it is? It's the canister that had the practice bombs in it.
Yeah, because was it Hermes or
CBLS stores carrier? Hobby Time says.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because in the Falklands, either Hermes or Invincible used to tow a practice target behind them, and the Harriers used to come in and bomb it on the way down to the Falklands.
Well, I remember when they were testing the FA2, it was with the US Navy, and the Harrier just used to take off and hover and fire its missiles, and because it could fire over the horizon and shoot the plane down. Job done. And it came back to Dunsfold in a Hercules.
What, wings off, then sort of
wings off, and it's just basically carriage in there.
Yeah, basically two pallets, isn't it?
And then that particular plane had the misfortune of being reversed into by a Sherpa van.
Oh,
whoops! I used to drive Sherpa vans.
It wrote a Sherpa van off.
Well, they were pretty lightweight material metal.
Yeah, it was banana.
Freight rovers, weren't the Sherpas?
I used to love driving the Sherpas. They were slotting really fast, but
yeah.
So Ben's saying that's the holy grail conversion right there. Any spares going, cash waiting. LOL.
Yeah.
So this was Simeon stuff, is it? This is what they brought out, was it? I'm assuming. The decal sheet looks pretty fine as well, to be honest.
Excuse me.
And also when they were doing the basically the formal handover at Dunsfold to the Royal Navy of the first FA2. So obviously FA2 had gone. The one that we had, the first one we had, it gone technical.
Yeah.
So we had to use another aircraft, and they were resurfacing the runway at the time. So the pilot had to take off on the taxiway, and he literally went vertical. But when he was taking off, the heat from the exhaust melted the runway, spat stuff onto the tail, and we thought the sodding guy was going to crash.
Wow.
It was a brown trouser moment for a lot of the stuff.
Squeaky bum time, as they used to say in football.
Yeah, squeaky bum time. But fortunately, it came basically the Harry. He made it round, landed it, jumped. He jumped out the Harrier. Didn't wait for them to put the steps up. Slid down the wing. Went into the management suite. Had a stiff whiskey and went home.
Don't blame him.
No. It was hilarious.
Just wondering why there's 3 wheels in this conversion kit.
It's twin wheels at the centre.
Bicycle undercarriage.
Yeah, twin wheels at the centre, one at the front, and then these probably 2
yeah.
are for the wing ones. You know, the winglet ones at the ends. It's 5 wheels there, isn't it, Ross?
Yeah, you just said that.
In the centre line, the 2 outboard, isn't it?
Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, I'm trying to work it out. Yeah, but yeah, that's basically that's the conversion kit. The definitely one that if you could see that for sale anywhere, that's probably worth a few quid. Definitely.
As you say, you like the old fist thing. Oops.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's, as I say, and that's the Eastern Express Sea Venom or
Sea Vixen.
Sea Vixen, yeah.
Eastern Express.
The frog kit originally.
Yeah, you know, that's what happened to a lot of the frog kits. I don't see value in the frog kits, which is a shame. I know that a lot of frog tooling was basically copied by Academy.
Russian. Yeah.
Because Academy had a link with
Minicraft.
Because Minicraft weren't actually model producers or manufacturers. They were the importers and exporters.
Yeah.
And they were linked with Frog and Academy. And the F4F4 is, if you look at that Academy Wildcat, that is an absolute copy. I did a video on it as well.
Yeah.
The other one is the Avenger, SB Avenger, I think it is another one that they just completely copied the tooling and produced their own. I know it's very difficult to say, oh, you know, this is, you know, the you know, on an aeroplane, you're basically copying parts of an aeroplane, but how it fit together and everything is exactly the same as Frog. So they just did that, you know, buggers that they did. So,
as I say, Frog flies right off the ground, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, that was the problem. It wasn't really, there was Frog and there was Penguin, wasn't it? Isn't that right?
Never heard of Penguin. Apart from books and biscuits.
See, the Frog kits originally meant flying right off the ground was that these planes you take off. You know, you could make them so they would fly. And then they brought out another.
Well, they had a special stand, didn't they?
You could bolt to the screw to the wall, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Let me just there was another name for them as well. It wasn't they had the Frog kits. Yes, they had the first frog penguin models were gliders made out of metal that, opposed to being thrown or launched, actually took off from the ground. So yeah, that was it. But they're most originally they were molded in cellulose acetate. That's what the frog penguin meant. And the reason they used the word penguin was that it wouldn't, because penguins don't fly, do they?
Mm.
So when they didn't fly, they called them frog penguins.
Mm.
Was it the Empire flying boat? That's a prime example of a frog penguin. But they've never really taken. I don't think there's many collectors of frog kits, though they were the biggest competitors of Airfix back in the day, even before Matchbox.
Can I just say, I'd never heard of frog until I went to British Aerospace at Dunsfold.
Yeah.
And one of my colleagues on the short order department, he was a model builder, and he told me about frog.
Yeah.
I mean, the first kit I had was technically frog, was the Revel Note of Apology Avro Shackleton.
I think I built a couple of frog kits when I was a kid.
Mm.
As I say, they were hard to find.
Yeah.
See, that's a rare frog kit. If you could ever find it, I've not even seen a picture of it. They released an RNLI lifeboat, Frog did, back in the day. But they in theory, I think they got the right scale for some of these. Like, I remember seeing the Vulcan, because they produced the Vulcan, the Victor, in 196 scale, not 100 scale or 72nd or 144. They did it in 196, and that's a pretty good size.
Yeah.
Really.
They were probably limited by the box size.
Higher than 72nd, eh? Or going the other way. So it's sticking within the base of 12, isn't it?
Yeah. But I don't see many people collecting frog kits. I've got about 20 frog kits upstairs. But also, I've also got frog kits in Nova boxings.
Yeah, I remember Novas.
Which is,
then
it went to Arc Models, didn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Frog. Well, actually, Frog wasn't Frog Triang?
No, that was part of Hornby. Not Triang.
Was it?
Meccano. Yeah.
No.
Because I had a train set with the shunter unit, and that was Hornby Triang.
Yeah.
I think Rovex, is it Rovex? ROVEX was the company that owned Triang and Frog. So whether Hornby bought the Triang brand out,
I think Hornby bought the Triang brand out, and they bought obviously the remnants of Rovex. Because obviously that tooling still exists in Hornby's early, what they call their railroad range.
Yeah.
Which is their sort of like their simplified detail locos that they do.
Because I've got to say, I remember that some frog kits were renamed Triang for the French market because the word frog was different to France or something, so they couldn't market them in France under the word frog. So they were known as, it was either
because the French would try and eat them.
Nothing wrong with frog's legs. There you go. It was Rovex on my box. Ah, okay. Build too many of those and you start jumping around going ribbit. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, but they were good kits. Back in the day, kits were pretty good. I think there was
I built a horse glider.
They did. I built that on my channel because when I went to do the decals, live stream this was, got the decals out, put them in water, and they went to powder. I was doing an example of how to use old decals, how they fit well and everything, and
well, like how not to.
Yeah.
Hence why I never videoed myself doing the decals on any kit.
I stopped doing that as well.
Yeah.
Actually, think about it. How much of a chance I took last Tuesday with those Matchbox ones, and not one of them broke.
Yeah.
And they actually literally pulled down with no fixing, without no solution on them. They literally went straight into the panel lines.
Yeah.
The Airfix one I did a couple of weeks before, and a couple of those broke.
Yeah. Because one other kit I would like to get from Frog, just to have it, is the shell welder. They did a shell welder boat, didn't they? 196 scale. I think it was 196. If I could get that kit, that would be brilliant as well. I'd love that kit too. But then that's a collector in me, and maybe even build it. But it's a cracking little kit. But so I've not seen one for sale for absolute years. Again, it's Russian though, isn't it? Now Dark Models have probably got the tooling for it. So,
Yeah.
But you got to remember that they are in a lifeboat.
Was sunken rib. Brilliant.
Yeah. Comment. Oh, you go, Ned Luby. Other way round. Rorex Triang bought out Hornby and Meccano over. Then thus Triang Hornby, that it became Hornby Railways when Rorex went bust, and by the 90s we're back to Hornby.
Yeah.
Is that right?
I think I do remember Triang actually buying it Hornby.
Yeah.
Because it's the same. Because a lot of their rail sets came with it was Hornby Triang. They kept the Hornby because it was the nut brand and just added Triang at the end. Because Triang also used to make things like kids' trikes and things like that back in the day.
Or pedal cars.
Yeah.
Because my brother had a Triang pedal car.
Yeah.
I think I've got a photograph of it somewhere, but with me in it, then unfortunately a neighbour sat and crushed it.
Interesting. Okay. So that's where it worked. The way it worked. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. Where's Nigel anyway? Nigel, you coming on, mate? I want to talk to you about Wingnut Wings.
Yeah.
He's the man who collects Wingnut Wings, isn't it? What's he got? 150 of them in his stash.
He's a collector. I mean, look at his stash is like crazy.
No, Nigel's training Dottie how to build kits.
Oh, I see.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Was he teaching Dottie how to open the boxes first, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I wonder how many that's on the floor have got piss on now. Oh no, she doesn't cock her leg, does she? As a girl, they won't cock their legs, do they?
Well, the boys don't cockies. If they're golden retrievers, they don't cock. It's rare they cock their legs because Judo doesn't cock his leg.
Yeah, my dog cocks his leg. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, collectors and builders. I think we come to the end of that. Quite a little debate that actually. Any questions in the chat? Fire them away, and we'll go and try and answer them for you. We had a couple about way back. I can't remember where they were. If you want to add them again, add them again. Here's Nigel now while he's here. He's jumping on with Dottie. There he is. Hello, mate. All right.
Hi, Nigel.
Can you hear us, Nigel?
Hello.
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 Oh, hell, Princess Dottie.
Look at Dottie.
I dropped off. I was watching you. I dropped off to sleep.
Oh. Was it that bad, was it?
That's how bloody boring we are.
Right.
Yes.
I saw 5 o'clock this morning. What was going on? She was barking all night.
Fireworks?
No, it wasn't fireworks. I don't know what it was.
Yeah. Captain Charm. Nigel's got a new dog. Yeah, Dottie. Welcome to Dottie.
Yeah.
Right. Just quickly, Nigel, we're talking about collectors and builders. Obviously, do you class yourself as a collector or a builder with a stash? Is the first question.
I'm a builder with a stash.
Yeah. Is it a big stash?
600.
That's not bad. Average for a stash.
Yeah.
What were Wingnut Wings? It took us. The reason I bring it up because it was Wingnut Wings that really brought the discussion forward on where I've talked to this chap online.
Yeah.
The price of Wingnut Wings has gone astronomical now, haven't they?
Well, when Wingnut Wings, we must remember, Wingnut Wings are not gone. Everybody says Wingnut Wings are gone. They're not. Their website is still active. If you've got one of their kits, there's a website you could, or an email address you can write to ask for spare parts, and they still reply.
Okay.
Wingnut Wings are not gone. They're just in the background. So bear that in mind for people that are spending hundreds and hundreds of pounds on kits. They could reappear at any point.
Yeah.
Their website's still active. You can still go on there and download all the links and all the hints and tips for all the instructions. No, they're not Qatari. Qatari, basically, some of the staff from Wingnut Wings were looking for another job, and there is a veterinary surgeon in New Zealand. I can't remember his name. He has got lots and lots of money.
Yeah.
He started the company Qatari and employed the best people from Wingnut Wings. So that's where Qatari are. They're not Wingnut Wings. They're nothing to do with Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, there are Wingnut Wings kits that I've seen sell for £850.
Crumbs.
It's just absolutely crazy. And the last little tranche last year, wasn't it, a bunch of kits came out, and that was the creditors, receivers, whoever they were. They emptied the warehouse, and people like Hannah's got some, Andy's hobby headquarters got some. He sent some to Europe and some to America, and they all bought
Yeah.
remaining stocks that were there. And will they come back as kit producers? Who knows?
Just out of asking, Nigel, if it was so it must have gone. So it didn't go bust then. It's still there, but receivers. There must have been monetary issues there for them to have receivers or creditors release these kits at a later date.
I did videos on the subject at the time.
Yeah.
It's one of those subjects you have to be very, very careful what you say, because Peter Jackson is obviously a very, very powerful man and has some very, very
good solicitors.
Mutual contact. You're trying to say, Nigel?
He tried to take border models down.
Yeah.
When they got the tooling for the Lancaster, but it basically turned out, from what I heard, and this is just rumor, and I have to say that.
Yeah.
He hadn't paid the final money for the tooling, therefore it was available for sale by the manufacturer, because the manufacturer owned it, and that was basically what happened. But the tooling wasn't finished. That's why the kit's not as good as it should have been. For example, the new BF 109 from Qatari, Richard has just test built the 5th test shot, and he sent it back for modification. You know, when you think what some companies do, they accept that whatever crap comes out. You know, he sent the 5th test shot back for modification.
That sounds very much like the Tsukimura.
Yes. But yeah, Wingnut Wings, they put a message out, and it was all put down. Everyone was saying it was only because of COVID that they actually stopped producing kits and they shut their offices. But everybody, well, a lot of people, me included, knew that wasn't the case. And I made videos, and everyone was like, "Oh, you know what you're talking about? They're not going anywhere. They're just having a pause because of COVID." But then when you saw magazine articles being interviewing Richard Alexander saying they just actually closed the office, they walked out, and they were no longer employed.
Yeah.
It was terrible. And there were rumors. There were rumors about what was happening.
Yeah.
And taxpayer money and this, that, and the other. I don't really want to go into, because I could end up in trouble.
Yeah. Who owns the tool? Who has the tooling now then, Nigel?
Jackson.
He does have the tooling still, does he?
The only people always say Meng's going to come out with all their kits. The only reason Meng came out with the Fokker DR1 in 32nd and 24th scale and fucked it up. The only reason they came out with that is because they had employed Meng to make the tooling, or they'd employed another company in China to make the tooling, and Meng had the tooling to bunk the kits out.
Yeah.
But it wasn't finished. We all know about the warp wing issue and all that crap. So yeah, that was why Meng got that. Border Model got the Lancaster because the tooling was up for grabs. Because it was like me saying to Gary, "Can you make this tooling?" And he turns around and says, "You owe me £1.2 million," and I say, "I ain't paying you." So he says, "Well, I'm going to fucking sell it to someone else then," and that's exactly what happened.
Wow.
All of the other tooling is owned by Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's very, very passionate, and he'll never sell it.
He's absolutely passionate about World War One.
Yeah, he won't sell that tooling.
So
all the tooling was made in China. It's all owned by Chinese companies. Chinese companies make all the tooling for other Chinese companies. It's there. It could come back like that.
Yeah.
But what he doesn't have is he doesn't have the team to produce the instructions, the decals, the photo etch, the research and all that. He could reproduce all the old stuff, but he can't come out and he can't remake Wings without another completely new team.
No.
And they have to be bloody brilliant.
Well, if you look at where they've gone, it's like Wing Leader Books, Beacon Models, and Koter, isn't it? Qatari.
Yeah.
And that wing, I will say it's Wing Leader Books, and as Nigel does the reviews every few months, weeks, isn't it? They're absolutely amazing books.
I don't know who's gone to Wing Leader. From Richard Alexander has done a couple of Lancaster. I don't know who's gone to Wing Leader from there's Jeff Allen. It's
Postlethwaite.
Mark Postlethwaite was not Wings.
No.
Mark Postlethwaite's an author. Actually, an artist. He's done the box art on a lot of Wings and Border Models kits, and he's done some beautiful, beautiful posters. And he has people like Peter Allen and that produce books for him. Travis Thompson is saying the World War Aircraft Company ran into financial trouble. There were rumors, and I have to specify there were rumors.
It was alleged. It was alleged. It was the word.
Misused them or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Which I can't believe. He's a multi-millionaire. Why does he need government grants?
I think that's all part of it, though, isn't it? The millionaires because they don't spend their money.
Well, what you say, Moss?
Yeah. I think it's sad because I think Wings would have rocketed if they were. I agree with a lot of what people say in that they should have sold their oats a bit more into the 148 scale because 130 is that extra price point, isn't it? And I agree with a lot of what people say. It's not necessarily the size of the plane or the size of the model. A lot of it comes down to your pocket change.
Yeah.
Second, put Wings slightly out of reach. But if they had invested in the 148 side of it, I think that would have been better for them.
I think what Wing should have done, instead of just focusing on World War One, they should have looked at the market and brought out niche stuff. Because not everybody wants to build World War One aircraft. Most people are scared of the rigging, for example.
But
they'd have brought out, a Scott with Camel, and then can you imagine if Wings had done a 32nd scale bow fighter?
Yeah.
Imagine how beautiful that kit would be, and then bring out a Scott with Pup, and then do a 30-second scale blending. You know,
I think their huge mistake was they didn't bring out a Spitfire.
Well, yeah, Qatari did it, and it was probably the best Spitfire. Yeah. But you know, I've just got this Bolt and Paul Defiant from Airscale.
Yeah.
If Wingnut Wings had done that, it would be whatever Wingnut Wings produced the kit. It was just the best.
Yeah.
But do you reckon, Nige, with the Lancaster Cup, they started in the Lancaster? Do you reckon that was the start of them going into World War II stuff?
They did say they were going to do more, but at the same time, they produced a Hanley Page 0400.
Yeah.
2nd scale, which
that is a beautiful plane.
Everyone was expecting me to do a video on the Lancaster, and I saw that 0400 2018 at Telford. I was just absolutely gobsmacked. Now that you see, that's disappeared. So probably Peter Jackson paid for the tooling on that one.
Yeah,
somewhere.
Or someone like Border Models thinking, "Hold on, now who's going to buy that?"
But it must admit, the 0400 was a beautiful aircraft for its time. Yeah.
And it was a beautiful model, and it had folded wings as well. But yes, absolutely stunning.
Yeah, it had folded wings because it couldn't fit in the hangars.
Yes. I do believe
wingspan, the site, wasn't it, on the actual aircraft?
I'll say this now, and I don't mind saying this because no one can have me for it. What's that huge Russian World War I aircraft? That absolutely massive thing. What was it called?
Yeah.
There was a
German one.
Absolutely, it made a Gotha G4 look like a Spitfire. It was massive.
Yeah.
I said to Richard, do you think you'd ever be crazy enough to produce that in 1/32 scale? And he said, I would imagine a company that's crazy enough to put out an 0400 in 32nd scale would do that. And I took that hint. And then they were gone.
Yeah.
You're going to say something, Jim?
Yeah, here's the thing with and it's the same with Tamiya. You know, you're saying, oh, Wingnut Wings should have done a Spitfire or a Bullfire. They weren't going to do any of that because they were Peter Jackson. Peter Jackson was World War I. He's a fanatic about World War I. He was going to do World War I planes because that's his jam.
Yeah.
Like Mr. Tamiya, not wanting to do F-16s, and he caved and did F-16s, and that's why you've never seen a two-seat F-16, even though the tooling's there and you can see it in the single-seater kit. You'll never see a twin-seater. It's just not going to happen, you know, especially now with everything that's transpired. But that's why I mean, the only reason I think that he was sniffing around doing the Lancasters because he was getting ready to make the Lancaster movie.
Yeah.
So that's why that got a sniff. But other than that, none of those.
Did he not remake the Dan Buster film then?
No. I think Stephen Fry was writing it.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, Jim, I'm not saying that that's not what Peter Jackson would have done. What I'm saying is if that's what they had have done, they would have been a lot more successful.
But see, it was never about being successful. I guess that's what I'm trying to say is that Peter Jackson never had the drive. He did what he wanted to do. It wasn't about making money. It was about doing what he wanted to produce. Yeah. It was his own personal model company. Yeah. Why? Well, maybe because funds were coming from someplace, and that led on to other things, and then it all blew up. See what I'm saying? If you read between the lines, it was never about making money.
I mean, I think if Peter Jackson he had done a lot of the ground equipment that they used for the World War I planes, they might well have been a lot more popular.
He did figures, didn't he? He did resin figures.
As I said, it's all about.
He's got an omnibus, isn't he? Peter Jackson. He drives around in an omnibus.
I'm amazed. I must be honest. I'm amazed in the modelling world we're in today. The lack of 1/32 scale ground equipment. You can get all sorts in 48. But in 32nd scale, there's nothing.
Yeah.
I did see a video from the Shizuoka, whatever it is, model show in Japan, and somebody is bringing out a 30-second scale American naval tractor.
Yeah.
You can have that on your F-14 or whatever, F-18 on on an aircraft carrier.
Yeah,
That's it. You've got a bloody border model banging out 35th scale aircraft, and still nobody's making 32nd scale ground equipment.
Yeah. Just on the flip side, I know it's quite true what you're saying about if Peter Jackson wants to do what Peter Jackson wants, that's fair enough. But then that might, could that not be the demise of Wing Not Wings because he wasn't fair to invest in subject matter that would appeal to a larger audience? And I think the only reason the likes of Airfix survive and Revell survive is that they do the subject matter that people want, like mini art, for instance. They've released the Stuart Honey, haven't they? With all every bell and whistle going for that kit. Yeah. There's so many of those on the market already, but they felt if they did something that's going to hit a bigger market, then that's what keeps them going. And then you're quite right, Nigel. I can't remember the last time I did a biplane because of rigging.
Yeah,
because it doesn't frighten me. It's just a fucking bitch to do some of the rigging. It is a wank. It really is to do rigging.
Try building that 16th scale Hasegawa.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's low.
It is. So, if you had the choice, Nigel, of building that or a GR Yaris in a rally scheme, what would you choose? You would go for the Yaris because there's no rigging on it.
I'll be building a GR Yaris very, very soon. I've spoken to Bell Kits and they're very, very receptive.
Good.
Yeah.
Peter Jackson is the Kiwi version of Mr. Tamiya. Does what he wants and that's it. Benevolent dictator, some would say. Who knows? Dale at Airfix or Luke at Revell could become that one day. I don't think so. I think they're open to suggestions, really. Crumbs. The Ferret Scout. You think about it with Dale, with Ferret Scout. I think the Ferret Scout cements Dale in Airfix. Because somebody mentioned it and he said, why aren't we building this? And all of a sudden now you see that they're looking into the vehicle side. They're not looking at tanks. There's no tanks coming through, is there? Yeah. But you're getting the Stalwart. You've had the Ferret Scout. You've had
next will be the Salamander.
I think there's one thing to remember in that last comment you just put up. Mr. Tamiya and Mr. Jackson own the company.
Yeah.
Dale is an employee.
Yeah.
And so is Luke.
And so is Luke.
Yeah.
I mean, Dale more so than Luke. Dale's higher in the company than Luke is in Revell. But
yeah. Luke is head of Dale's head of brand of Airfix.
Is he head of a division, ain't Luke?
Yeah, Luke's head of flight and space, isn't he?
Yeah.
So but they both, I presume, if they say do this, they'll do it. Revell brought Luke on to see what the problems are because the questions that Luke asked us. What do you think we need to change? Your boxes. What do you think we need to get? Be honest with what's in the box. Let us know the age of the tooling at least. Things like that. Don't say new diorama things, and it's just no tooling in the box.
It's like that Harrier where it says new 50th anniversary. It was the 50-year-old kit.
Yeah.
Which was based on
they legally
get
away with
prototype, wasn't it?
Yeah, they're almost it's almost as bad as Temu when they say the RRP of this Spitfire, Tamiya Spitfire, is 150 quid.
Yeah.
They're reducing it down to 20 quid when every Spitfire in the land is 20 quid. Like, how do they get away with it? I don't know.
That's enough.
The ICM is making the Hampden based on one person's request. I don't think it was one person's request. I think that there was a lot of backing that, you know, people were saying that it's, you know, that there isn't one in the market really, and loads of people banged on about it. And so
I was one of those.
Yeah.
I was one of those.
Yeah.
Someone does do a 148 Halifax. Sanger models do a 148 Halifax.
Was it that 2 years ago, by the way, that Hampden? When they announced
it was 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 2 years ago.
I've
And
got
we haven't even seen any CAD image for it yet.
CAD images.
Yeah.
I've got it on pre-order, and unfortunately, I'm going to have to pay for it because I don't wear black gloves.
One person's request and their research back it up would be more popular. Well, this is what it is, you know. I can give them tons of information about a bear cat. You know. So why can Tamiya announce a new Honda Prelude kit when the car itself hasn't even been released in real life? I tell you, Honda paying for it.
Richard, honestly, I saw that from Shizuoka. They just announced this Honda Prelude fucking coupe thing. Why haven't they done a GR Yaris?
Yeah.
Jesus, sorry.
Because they do what they want to do. They do it what they want to do.
Exactly.
Who the hell gives a damn about a bloody Honda Prelude? It's a front-wheel drive thing.
Okay, well, if it's big in Japan, that's their market. And that's who...
GR Yaris isn't big in Japan. It's winning every single rally it enters worldwide. 2 different classes.
Doesn't matter. Mr. Tamiya does what he wants, and he caters to his market in Japan.
So annoying. And he's got the license for Toyota and Gazoo Racing.
He's doing it to frustrate you, though, Nigel.
Hey?
He's doing it to frustrate you.
Nah.
Keep your blood pressure down, Nigel. Keep your blood pressure down.
Calm, cool waters.
To be fair, they have been a bit... Sorry. To be fair, they have been a bit busy in Ukraine. Yeah, I know they've been busy in the Ukraine, but I'm just saying, you know, we're going to do one. They were in better not saying anything and then just coming out saying we're going to be doing a Hampden, because now they've got the expectation of people.
No, it's like they announced we're going to do the ICM, we're going to do the Burma Jeep, and all of a sudden it got quietly dropped.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You know, I'm not picking at it. I'm just saying that you've got to go through what the expectations are, and you know we can go through hella. You know, they offered us 9 toolings in the last 5 years, and only the trailers and the concrete slabs have come out. The Citroen hasn't come out. The Peugeot hasn't come out. All right, the Hawkeye's on its way because it's now for sale at model shops. So, you know, people expect things. The amount of people when I saw they were going to bring out that new Peugeot 205, whatever it was, they never came back with it. Oh, and the Massey Ferguson tractor, 135 Ferguson, never did it, and people get pissed off with that. So
Tamiya announced a kit, and it comes out a few months later.
Yeah. And Airfix will announce a kit, and it's coming on the boat in 2 weeks. You know, so
Portable announced a kit, and it comes 2 years later.
Who's that? Who's that, Nige?
Order model.
Yes.
They announced their Heinkel 111 probably 18 months ago, and they've just got test shots at Suzuka now.
Yeah.
Going back to collectors, it's like Edard. I don't think people will collect Edard kits because they've used their plastic 20 times in the first 10 years of producing the tooling. You know, look at that. Was it the P51 that they did? It's been released 20 times since they released the tooling 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
it was Spitfires as well, Moz.
Yeah. You know,
Like Spitfire Mark 8, that's been released a few times.
Travis said trumpeter are the champions of early announcements. Yeah.
Yeah.
How many years ago did they announce the Devastator, Nigel?
Yeah, the Devastator. I mean, the other thing with that is that kit has even got the kit number in sequence with kits that came out 20 years ago. It's something like 32010, and the Douglas Dauntless was 32009, and the Bearcat was 32011. They kept the bloody part number.
The kit, the release number, yeah.
It's like a 20-year-old kit, and it's just been released. But I want to say, Richard WL, he said that Tamiya have got a good relationship with Honda. There we go. But not as big as Toyota. Well, the GR Yaris is the only Gazoo racing car that Tamiya haven't released.
Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
They've done the Supra. They even did that shitty GT86 rally car that nobody wanted.
Yeah.
They've done the Le Mans cars. It's mental. I don't know why they haven't done it. It's crazy.
I think it's they've done rally cars. They did the Scoobies, didn't they?
Yeah.
Oh, they've done loads of Toyota rally cars as well. They've done the Celicas. They've done the Corolla.
Got to
They
run,
did
Jets.
the Toyota van, didn't they? Tamiya's only van. It's a Toyota.
Was that Jim?
I got to run.
Oh, cheers, mate. Thanks for joining us.
Jim.
Mate.
Early, so have a good one, guys.
You're always
Take
welcome on, mate. And we'll do that one about the comparison between England and American kit when Nuke's next on. All right,
Sounds
mate?
great.
Brilliant,
Have a
mate.
good one. Enjoy.
Cheers. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care, buddy.
You are right, though, Nige. You know, when you I've always said this. Why would any manufacturer release a tooling of a Formula One car anymore? Because the developments of a Formula One car are so fast, year on year on year, that within 9 months of them releasing that tooling, the car's completely different, or a lot of difference in it.
Well, so you think about in-season development, a Formula One car from race 1 by race 6 is probably got a third of it redesigned. By the end of season, it's a complete new car, most of it.
Yeah.
Aerodynamics, suspension, brake ducts, whatever. It's constant updates to get that extra.
Most of it tends to be the old wings.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, you think about it, like if you were going to release a car now, let's say that GR Yaris, that body shell will be the same right the way through for 5 years. You'll get 5 years of tooling out of that. Maybe
pretty much, I mean, there's a couple of changes, but
But the only thing they have to change probably is a new set of wheels, or But if you want to do that, you would get the resin wheels anyway. So somebody would create a resin set for those. But I just it always gets beyond me that they're all glorifying over the fact they're releasing that 6-wheeler Formula One car that only ever raced 1 year, that Tyrrell. But all the other ones
didn't even race the whole season. What's it about? 8 races.
8 races. Yeah. But at the end of what I'm trying to get at is that if you wanted to invest in cars, I wouldn't even touch for it. If I was a manufacturer, I wouldn't touch those. I'd be looking at the Teslas, GR Yaris's, the Cougars,
Teslas.
You know what I mean? Just going for that. Those Teslas won't change. Those Teslas, I guarantee, especially that Cybertruck, I reckon that shape will be the same for 20 years because they've got it to a point and they're not going to change it now. They may change inside software and stuff because they are a software company, and that's why they will.
Teslas do tend to get driven over quite well by Sherman tanks.
Yeah.
that was funny.
I just want to say to Benedetto there, his comment, what slams that one down is they've actually done a 10th scale RC car of the FIA Rally 1 Yaris, and they've done a 10th scale RC car of the standard car. They've even done a 32nd scale. What are they called? The little ones with the wheels that stick out the sides for going down the tracks.
Slot cars.
Yeah.
They've even done that. It's like,
these ones, Nige. These ones.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a Honda. That's a Honda, by the way. That's the what do they call it? The Honda E. This is the
Yeah.
Honda E. It's all stickers, by the way, no decals on it. But yeah, Sam sent us a gift. Thank you very much, my friend. We'll answer your question. What now counts as a new tool? Considering 2000 was a quarter of a century ago, almost the same time as Lancaster to Concorde first flight.
True.
New tooling
Good
is
question.
what we would class as something that's come out fresh, and it's only been so when you get the plastic from a new tooling, it's going to be the crispest it's going to be, because tooling wears out. So if a tooling is manufactured now, say 2023, and the kit comes out 2023, that's a new tooled kit. And then so like now if they release a kit now, we would call that a re-release or repop. I like the word, or rebox.
Yeah.
And what they tend to do is all that really changes is they may add new parts to it because they've developed this tooling. At the same time, they've developed other sprues so that they can adjust the main sprue into whatever. So if you've got like the GR1 from the Jaguar, it's going to be a GR3, that sort of thing. You're going to get the extras.
Lysander as well.
It's like the Avro Anson.
Yeah, the Avro Anson.
Because obviously
The C kit.
original tooling only had the turret on the back, didn't it?
Mm.
But the tooling itself had it all faired over.
Mm. Yeah. Is that answer your question, mate?
Engine fairings for the engine.
If that answers your question, Sam, let us know. But basically, it's when the plastic comes out that tooling fresh, and then everything else is just either Basically, what they do is they put new fresh decals in most of the time, and they add separate parts. So if you want to do a Mark 1 version or a Mark 5, I think with Spitfires you could do a Mark 1 and Mark 5, and all you got to do is change your canopy and the wings. If you see what I mean, that's basically it.
Guns, yeah.
If you want to do a tropical one, they'll probably put a sprue in there that will give you a tropical inlet,
a box filter.
Yeah, box filter. So, that's a good one. CCC. But if you look, Nigel, all those RC1s, no FIA decals anywhere, and it's reduced scheme. I don't think you could do that for a plastic kit and get away with it.
Tamiya do. Tamiya now produce. It's quite annoying. They produce a lot of race cars without sponsorship decals and no tire lettering, and it's really annoying.
Yeah.
The latest one, I've got a few of them here, is the 120th Fiat 131 in the Fiat Olio. It's got Pirelli on there. It's got no, I don't think it had Pirelli on the tires anyway, but it's got no Pirelli on the body. It's got no Cinzano, and there's something else as well that's missing. And it's like, it just looks like so bare because they haven't put it in there.
Good shout.
Right, Julian.
Will we ever see that meteor for the
Julian.
Rebel?
Yeah. I was meaning more towards a newish kit, as in when a 2000 or 2012 kit both be counted as new tools, and 80s kit was counted as a new tool. No, you count a new tool as something that, as it says, a new tooling. So, for instance, a 1980s kit that's had one release, or that would be classed as a new tool. I would say that we always talk about old tooling. We call it old tooling. See, 2000. I wouldn't say 2000. I would say 2000 is an oldish tooling, but also it depends on who owns the manufacturer. Like Airfix tooling, pre 2006. Is that when they got taken over by Hornby, isn't it? Was it 2006? So anything pre 2006, our class is old tooling, and pre and post 2006, our class is Airfix newer tooling. If you see what I mean. But
so to basically, in a nutshell, it's like this Anson is a repop. Because it's re-release. Nigel's got the kit. I bought the kit off me.
Yeah,
with my original Anson. So it's got new decals and new You can build the same kit out of it, but you can't do the decals.
Yeah.
I did a review. I can't remember what it was now. I did a review a couple of weeks ago. It was like a 2012 tool, and I said this is like an older kit.
Yeah.
Someone said, "How can you call that an older kit when Revell are churning out stuff from 1950s?" And I had to reply, I said, "It's an older kit. It's not new. I can't describe it as a new kit. It's 2012. It's 13 years old. It's not new."
Yeah. That was the issue, wasn't it? You know, you can't, you know, it is, you know, goes against Change Description Act, doesn't it? You know.
Well, the other thing is, I mean, sometimes you'll get like a brand new special hobby kit and it's awful, and you'll get a 20-year-old Tamiya kit and it's awesome. So you say, for an old tooling, this is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
You have to choose your terminology, but someone will disagree with you, won't they? Because they're human.
Yeah,
exactly. I've got a model kit event coming up in the theme. Is anything with a 10 in it? Any suggestions? Has to be automotive. Anything with a 10 in it?
Porsche 910.
Yeah, I've got to say that. Yeah.
914.
Yeah, that's
917.
It's not got a 10 in it.
107. Peugeot 107.
107, okay.
106.
Kits in them, do they?
Anything with a 10 in it? 10-litre engines.
Viper V10.
Yeah.
Rover 110.
10-ton army truck is a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's where the plastic model in. 10-ton army truck.
Maybe even some of the Formula 1 V10 engine cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a quite a rare kit. It's a Revell Audi V10 diesel.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
V10 and diesel together.
Yeah, any race car with a 10 racing number or V10 engine will finish 10th in a race.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Just do a couple of American cars with CBers, and they're saying 10-10 till we do it again.
You could do two Citroen C5s. That adds to a 10, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Sinclair C5. Actually, came out. Sinclair did do a C10 as well.
Yeah.
You could do a Hyundai i20 and cut it in half.
Porsche Carrera GT. Fair enough, mate. Anyways, it's gone 10 o'clock, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope that was a good little debate about collection stuff. We're trying to mix it up every week. Remember, like I'm saying, if you do have, sorry, I just saw that. Put a tenner on the model. There you go. That would do. Just put a £10 with it. Anyways, yeah. If you have any suggestions for topics on Airfix and Chill, please do email me or email James or whoever, and we'll put them on a list. As I say, we are going to do one about differences between model shows in this country and other countries and whatever. But yeah, thanks all for watching. I appreciate your time. Thank you, James. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, John. Thank you, Nigel. And thank you, Jim, for joining us. And we'll be here next Monday, same time, same place. See you then. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Bye-bye.